is one of the most fascinating islands in Europe when it comes to legends and folklore. Various stories and legends are circulating about this, and now we will tell you some of them.
So, why Dublin doors are colorful? We can say that walking around Dublin you will come across more than once adorable colorful doors, yellow, green, red, and it seems that the first appeared in the early 20th century in two houses not far from Morrow Square, both belonging to writers of the time, George Moore and Oliver John Gogarty. The two men, who did not get along very well, were used to drinking late into the night and returning home drunk. So often, however, once they arrived at their destination, they tried to enter the wrong dwelling. After the unpaid mistake, George Moore decided to paint his door green so that it was recognizable. Gogarty, offended, decided to do the same to emphasize that he was not the only one to make that mistake. But he chose red. Since then, Dublin is colorful, gates have appeared throughout the city, and although no one knows with absolute certainty the origin of the cosmos, today they have become a symbol of the capital.
Trinity College is one of the most fascinating places in Dublin, and thanks to its beautiful library and the famous students who studied in it, this university became one of the most famous. What many people don't know is that there are also some gods that seem to be living in it, and most of them seem to have since stuck here after the bodies were used for study by the medical school. Rumors began to circulate, especially during the construction of the Berkeley Library, because during the excavations the zone of remains were found. They were probably belonged to homeless and criminals. That bodies were studied without too many scruples inside the university classrooms.
Who hasn't heard at least once about the leprechaun? This curious name appears for the first time in a modern literal work. Derives from the modern Gaelic. That the meaning is small spirit because it's short. An alternative etymology that is suggested in the Oxford English Dictionary makes it derived from lit brogan, that is cobbler, since the leprechaun is often represented in the act of repairing the shoes. The legend has told that the leprechaun lived with other members of the so-called little peoples, like fairs, gnomes, or other types of goblins in Ireland before the arrival of the Celts. For this reason, the places of worship of prehistoric times are associated with this particular strand of mythology and were considered in the past portals that were magical. The aspect of the leprechaun, they have the green, in the green color, began to associate it with leprechaun only in modern times, because in the past it was believed that the leprechaun only used to wear red, not green, with gold embroidery and pointed hat, but the style of clothing could vary from country to country. His jacket must have traditionally had 7 rows of 7 buttons. In the rain, the leprechaun would often hide in a heavy coat, which made it less recognizable. It was believed to be about 3 feet tall. He was shy and must a solitary creature, and their favorite hobbies was to repair shoes because they have the reputation of tireless and experienced cobblers. They also seem to hide the treasure they jealously guard. Despite being solitary creatures, they are skilled in the art of eloquence, and their cunning is superb.
Molly Malone's story is somewhere between reality and legend, and the young girl, whether she existed or not, has now become a symbol of Dublin, as well as Lucky Charm. It is said that Molly, a beautiful girl who lived in the 17th century, sold fish by day and was a prostitute at night. When known in the city, she died very young of typhus, and since then her ghost seems to wander through the streets of the capital. For years, no one told their stories, but in 1880, in Ireland appeared a popular song that definitely included her among the characters of local folklore. Today, lyrics and music have become the one official anthem of Dublin, so important to accompany that of the country during the matches of the national rugby team. Irish harp is one of the musical instruments from medieval origins and is made from a single log of wood finely carved. For centuries, the Irish harp in Gaelic Larsak, I think, was the instrument that accompanied the moments of pastime of the nobility. Towards the end of the 18th century, the Celtic harp, or rather its image, assumed a symbolic value and was even adopted as an emblem by the independence movement of the United Irishmen. Romantic literature and the rediscovery of Gaelic traditions later helped to strengthen the symbolic link between the Irish harp and the aspirations of Irish patriotism. Even in more recent times, the harp continues to have a symbolic value, less political, becoming the official logo of the famous Guinness.
So, Irish ring. Claddagh ring is the famous ring of the Irish tradition, whose name is associated with a fishing village located on the Bay of Galway and called in fact Claddagh. The ring of Claddagh expresses different meanings and is composed of several symbols that include emotional bonds. You can express love or affection throughout how you wear it, a link between past and present that is handed down from a generation to generation and enhances the creativity of a jeweler from Galway, which is associated with paternity. There is no magic, only so much charm towards the tradition. The symbolism of the Claddagh ring, looking at the Irish ring, you are immediately fascinated by the elements that characterize it. The Claddagh ring is formed by two hands that embed a heart all topped by a crown. The hands show the gods, the heart represents the human race, the crown that surmounts everything is to symbolize life. There are many interpretations. Some studies claim that the hands will symbolize friendship, the crown will be a symbol of loyalty, while the heart will be love. In this regard, there is an association, or rather an analogy between the Claddagh and the Irish clover, symbol of the island and St. Patrick, used by the sun to explain to the pagans the concept of Trinity. The triple leaf is equated to heart, hand, and crown. The meaning of the Claddagh ring encompasses friendship, emotional bond. These moods and material status can be expressed by the way you wear the Irish ring.